Hi, everyone. I'm glad to be with you today. And so I'm going to be talking about Tidalbase, which is an AI-powered co-working platform for developers and learners. And you're probably wondering why. So, a couple of weeks ago, I was on Reddit and there was this post, which was solo coding feels like an incredibly boring single player game. Like 800 people upvoted this because it's such a prevalent sentiment that actually when you're coding, things can get quite kind of boring. And it's pretty crazy to think this if you consider that. I don't know of any other industry where we have as many online coding communities, as many Discord servers dedicated to just coding or programming. And also, you've got over 1 billion resources on Google. So if you were to check for things that can help you to get into code. So I guess the big question is then, so what's the problem? Why is coding still boring? Why is it challenging? Why do some people drop off instead of, being able to persist and continue with it? And my personal belief is that the challenges of coding fall into two camps. So on one hand, there's the boredom camp. So when you start with your new tutorial, everyone knows the tutorial hell, there's that. So you just have to, make your way through it. And it requires you to push yourself to get that done. On the other hand, there is the issue of debugging. So I like to think of debugging as not just the code itself, but also debugging your mind, debugging yourself in terms of your thinking. Because, you have to get to that point where you build that resilience to be able to overcome the problems that you face. And I love this little graphic here about what typically happens when people start their coding journey. So you usually have the honeymoon phase where there is a lot of resources that can help you do your first Hello World page and things of that nature before things start to decline and you start to lose your confidence. But at the same time, your competence is going up. And this continues, if you manage to push all the way through up to the point where you're job ready and your confidence should have gone up again. Now, one of the challenges that people face is that it's especially one of these peak phases where you can have issues with negative emotions, which ultimately stop you from being able to be productive, because either you don't know how to even begin to solve the problem or you're stressed. And now, and all these negative factors lead to that. And not just that, but then the confidence topic also gets affected. And then people start to suffer from imposter syndrome. So if you're just in your own little coding bubble and you're working by yourself, because you consistently come across challenges, it's easy to feel like you really don't know anything, when in reality, you're at the stage that you should be. But then to be able to make that orientation, you need other people. So what's the remedy for these issues? So for the boredom, frustration, difficulty with the different problems, I think you need to use a bit of a push and pull strategy. So this comes from the world of marketing, right? So push means you kind of need to push yourself, and pull, you need the other people around you that pull you into what you need to do and getting things done. So in terms of the push strategies, right? That just falls straight down to self-leadership. So it's about being consistent, setting goals for yourself, and using the standard systems like Jira and the like to track your goals, or Walker time to see like what you're actually doing and how you're spending your time, or stuff like Toggle It to track how much time you're spending on it, to help you gain a personal perspective on, you know, how much work you're actually doing, and you and be more motivated as you reach your goals. But then the challenge also can be is you don't know whether the speed at which you're reaching your goals makes sense. I mean, if you go online, you'll see on TikTok, for example, I mean, a week ago, I saw a video on how to become a professional software engineer in 3 weeks. And I mean, like, anyone who's attempted to learn to code know that this is just not going to happen in 3 weeks, right? In the coding and programming space, we also talk about this topic about networking, so getting that external input. So I think codebar is already like a really amazing community, because you do get the workshops, so you do get people that you can turn up to and talk about what you're working on, as well as the opportunity to nurture those relationships as people go through the pipeline, and to also widen your network within the tech world so that you can land a job, or you know, find out about other areas and be inspired. But I mean, so you probably listen to me talking about everything that you should be doing, right? When it comes to networking, and you're thinking, yeah, I hear all that, but I do not want to be actively working on developing that network, right? I don't want to put in too much effort on top of all the learning that I have to do. So back in 2018, when I used to work in the corporate world, and I led software and hardware teams. And you know, when you're in the corporate world, it's much easier to get people that you can talk to. You have an office, you've got people regularly working on the same things as you, and inspiring you to get going. So when I quit my job and I started working in the startup space, I really missed that that access to people who are also working on the same stuff I'm working on. I mean, sure, you can go for a co-working space, but in some cases that's incredibly expensive. And so what I did is I initially started by rounding up a group of friends of mine where we'd meet weekly and discuss the problems we're facing. But even then, that still wasn't enough for me, because in my 40-hour work week or whatever, you're still alone and you're still having to battle that. And I just thought to myself, you know, when you're searching for the solution to a problem and you're on Stack Overflow and someone answers it and the answer is great, but not completely full, and you think to yourself, wow, it would be nice if I could just talk to that person, and then that would help me to answer my stuff. And that's where the idea behind Tidalbase actually began. So Tidalbase is our AI-powered platform, and it matches people on the basis of your tech skills, your goals, so what you're trying to learn. So now I'm just gonna show you a bit about what the Tidalbase looks like, and then open it up for questions from everyone. So Tidalbase, so what we do is we work with your goals. And so depending on what stage you're at and what you're working on, you're going to have different motivations. So if you want to grow your network of tech enthusiasts, you can do that. So, and let's see, my techie match criteria. So, okay. So, you can pick your tech stack, like what languages you're using, what frameworks, libraries, and things like that. And yeah, and we have a little survey that helps us to gauge just where you are on that front in terms of your learning. And it helps us to also provide you with like really great matches, so you can meet with people that are at the similar stage as you, but also with people that are advanced compared to you. And then once that's all set up, you can always pick other tech topics that you might be interested in, or your tech career and tech development or career growth and progression or anything else you have in mind. And yeah, we actually use natural language processing technology to build a model of who you are and what you're trying to meet. And I think what's also key for people that are learning is you can also select your e-learner match criteria. So this is on the basis of whatever course you're taking at the moment. And this helps us to be able to provide you with very specific matches with people from that same course as you, so that you can talk about, what you're learning. We have it for mentorship as well, because what our plans for Tidalbase is to bring on some more experienced developers for them to be working on Tidalbase. And I just think it's just a really nice way to meet potential mentor that you can discuss things with as you go about your working day together, or mentor others. But coming soon, we've got a couple of new matching goals, but the one that we're actually placing priority at the moment in terms of our pipeline is the getting help for preparing for an upcoming interview. And this was actually a request that we actually got from one of the communities that were onboarding, that for people who are preparing for an interview, the challenge is finding people that you can that can help you prepare and that you can spar with as you get around to your interview. So this just helps with providing you with that opportunity. What's also interesting is we have the networks. So we've already created a codebar network on here. And what that does mean is that matches with people within the codebar community will be prioritized to you. So, and also if you meet people that you like, you'll be able to add them to your connections list, and we will prioritize them. But it's on the basis of you working together and you both confirming that you want to have a favorite connection with that person. And then, so finally, when you want to work, basically you just need to schedule a session. So our algorithm runs 10 minutes before each hour or each half hour. So if you are, as long as you book a session in advance of that time, then you should be matched up with someone. So if I wanted something at 3 o'clock, then you just book it and then it's scheduled. And but I mean, we also understand that what you're working on will differ as you go through the day. And to influence the matches that you're getting, we also have this topic or problem field where you can change what you're working on. And that will also help our AI in terms of sorting out the matches for you. So essentially, that's how it works. So when you have a match, so if you book 10 minutes before, then you can just press start the session, and then you'll jump onto a co-working session. And now the way the co-working session works is we have the initial 2 minutes where you're supposed to say hello to each other. You can see what problem the other person's working on. They can see what problem you're working on. But the idea is that helps to break the ice, and then you get to work together for 40 minutes. And just having that other person working with you falls into this body doubling concept. The fact that you've got a meeting, you've got someone else who's going through what you're going through. It helps in terms of productivity and just keep going. And then one of the final features that we have, unfortunately, I don't have a session running right now, is you can select whether you'd like to end the co-working session quickly. So just wrap up and say how you work went and call it a day. Or if you're interested in chatting, so you both get the opportunity to select whether you want to do that, kind of like on Tinder. And that will, and then you both know what the expectations are from your co-working partner without the challenge of figuring that out. So that is Tidalbase in a nutshell, and I'd like to open it up for your questions.
Thank you so much. We've had a few questions come in, which is really good. It was really nice seeing like the hands-on demo. So thank you so much for that. Someone has said, how can one person come up with something so genius and so needed by the community? So how did you come up with this idea?
Well, I mean, the idea was I just wanted to speak with someone, right? And during the pandemic, when Lunch Club came around, like, so that was great because you could connect with people from across the world. But then the challenge I had with that was like, do I really, I mean, it's like a blind match, right? Do I really want to spend 30 minutes talking to this person? Or do I want a more organic connection like I had in my office, whereby we are working side by side and we're both committed to what we're working on and we can talk. And so, yeah, that's how the idea for Tidalbase actually came up during the pandemic.
Nice. Someone else has said, is Tidalbase free?
Yeah, so Tidalbase, I mean, with codebar, when you join with codebar, so you get 3 free sessions per week. So you got 3 hours for free. But if you wanted to upgrade to a pro membership with unlimited matching, then that would be, yeah, about £7 per week. I mean, a month, sorry, £7 a month for that.
£7 a month. And I've just added the codebar link into the chat as well.
I mean, but I should say also, I mean, like we do give 25% of the subscription membership to our community partners. Because for quite a few years, I've ran communities myself, and I think fundraising can be a challenge sometimes. And so that was also our approach to support the communities that we're working with from the value we're providing with Tidalbase.
Talking of communities, someone has said, how could communities help you?
Me personally, or
Nikita, this was your question.
Yeah, I always have problems with clicking buttons. Well, welcome autistic me, and just say that, well, I'm alive because I found somebody to talk to, so I know how this stuff matters. I know people who are alive because of that. And I know I've heard of people who are not alive because they didn't talk. So it's important. My question is that if you ever need support, just DM me. I'll make time happen. I'll just stop working. And regarding, sorry, I'm over the meds. Well, I'm in clinical depression. I'm over the meds there for 11th day or something. So today is the crying day, and yeah, it's commercial. So my question is, your company called Tidalbase, how can we help you? And the second one, how can we help girls and ladies around the world to see that it's normal to be so good in tech, to see that it's normal to become CTO and founders?
I mean, I think you can help us with Tidalbase by using it, providing feedback. I mean, we have a community space, so you can either DM me directly and tell me if something is not working, or in our, bug issues, like report something, and also just share how your day is going with us. We always love to hear like how it's going on. And in addition to that, letting other people know, so other community members who maybe weren't available to come today, to really join the Codebar network on Tidalbase, and so you can work together with each other one-on-one.
What if we tell it to 48,000 of people? So
sorry,
what if we talk to 48,000 of people? Basically, we have Codebar here, and we have names as hard for autistic me Tidalbase. So London Java community, it's not London, it's Java, it's not Java, it's just a bunch of people who care around the world. It's online and free. So if you and Codebar, if you just came and gave us a talk, it would be nice. It's 8,000 people plus or minus. And so Java, well, some of us are Java, it's in Brazil, which is also a community which needs help, and they're amazing, and it's 40,000 people. So it's more like a news group. I'm not yet fully aware, but they do conferences as well. It would be really nice to see you and Codebar as well in one session on parallel, because I want people to see that it's normal
Yeah, okay. I can set an email up after this with
Good.
the three of us, and we could chat about doing you giving a talk to the London user group as well. Amazing. So many people are signing up. I'll just share the codebar link again, just in case. Someone said I signed up with GitHub. Is that okay?
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely fine. I mean, like, that's just your authorization, but yeah, you just need the link and to join to the codebar network. But I mean, I'll send out the codebar network. And I mean, the other thing is I need to discuss with you, Kimberly, is whether you want it to be a public network, meaning anyone can join the codebar network on Tidalbase, or whether it's a closed network specifically for
what's the main difference? Is one private and one public?
Yeah, one's public means we show it on the network page, so it's easy to discover.
Okay.
If it's private, then you need the link.
Well, what would people prefer? Would people be okay with it being public, or should we make it private? Are you happy with me to share the link with my bootcamp? Yes, please do.
Yeah,
share the link.
What exactly are we making public?
It's the network group on Tidalbase. So we have, I mean, if you join a particular network, we prioritize your matches within that network. So if you have specific groups and you want to spend a little more time with people in those groups, and then yeah, you'd be those will be people prioritize for you to
Is
work.
anyone's data public, or is it just you can just see that there is a codebar network?
You can just see that there's a codebar network.
Okay, let's make it public then. As long as it's not sharing anyone's data, I think that should be fine. So yeah, let's make it public.
And I mean, and even with the online communities, like, I mean, I followed up with a couple of people. I don't know if you know the Coding Buddy subreddit on Reddit, and you get people posting on there about, hey, I'm looking for someone. And I followed up with a couple people to find out, like, how did that go? And they're like, yeah, I find people, but then, you know, messaging back and forth, we can find a time. But yeah, the beauty of Tidalbase is it's on your time.
Yeah. That's someone said this is what I've been looking for months. Oh.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's really great to hear.
Someone said, when the link opens, do we go to try a session for free or to sign up? Is there a difference?
No, there's no difference. Just a difference in the wording, but it's the same thing. So
it's a bit like on the codebar website. It says sign up as a student, sign up as a coach, but they both take you to the same place. And then you just subscribe to the groups that you want. Yeah. Any other questions for Cyndi before we wrap up?
Do you do any open source as person or as a community?
No, I don't do any open source, but the intention for one of the match preferences that we have in here for finding collaboration opportunities was to also work with some, because I mean, there's a lot of open source projects that are always looking for people to sign up to. And I think if we provide it in this way, I think when you can talk to someone, it also helps people to get involved in particular open source projects. So that's how we plan to support open source. Yeah.
Can I ask another question?
Yes.
Yes. So there's a thing I don't like in IT. Well, there are three things. One is Code Ninja, because it's not true and it blocks people. Another one is, well, I love Lambda Java community, but their name sticks because it's not Lambda, it's not Java, and time after time I have to train people. And third one is hackathon, because it's nothing to do with hacking. The hardest part in any hackathon is to log into the system on the day. That's the hardest part. So how can I help to bring more people to hackathons from codebar and from your system, maybe some friends, because that empowers people so much. They can talk to people who are so high in IT already, and they can learn so much, and they can maybe even win some prizes, and sometimes it makes a huge difference. Oh, and second question is Slack. Can you please create a shop or something so we can buy hoodies and stuff and stickers? I mean, buy it.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, look, I mean, we're in our early stages, so we're actually open to co-developing specific matching or session types on Tidalbase. So if you have any ideas, then yeah, we definitely love to hear from you and work with you. Like I said, like the interview prep, like we started co-developing that with another community that needed it. So definitely up for it. So especially if you think about the way you're working with hackathons, then yeah, we could definitely come up with something for that.
And what about swag?
Yeah.
We
Where can
don't
I buy 100 stickers?
we don't have any swag yet, but just hearing you now, I'm realizing how we need some swag to provide.
Okay, well, thank you so much everyone for coming along on this Friday lunchtime. But yeah, thank you so much everyone for coming along, and the biggest thank you ever, Cyndi, for coming along and talking about Tidalbase. Thank you so much everyone.
Thank you for having me.